Well, hello, welcome back to the channel. We're still working on our Ruby parser, and if you've been along with us for the last few videos, you know we've been just slowly chipping away at it. And I believe last time we worked on multiple expressions and a couple of housekeeping items. And so tonight, I thought I'd work on being able to parse method calls. At least method calls with parentheses and possibly method calls without parentheses. You know, Ruby accepts both, and I think the one without parentheses might be a little bit hairier, but we'll see what we can do. So if we go to our parser test, and apparently I closed Vim without saving, but that's okay. We're going to just add a new test. It parses method calls. We'll say with parentheses. I think that's how you spell it. Yeah. Okay, so I assume that we can just do something like this. I'll say foo, and we'll do an empty method call first, should equal. And I'm going to cheat, which I always love to do, and do Ruby parser. Run this with Ruby first, MRI Ruby, the big daddy, and let's see, test parser, and see what it outputs, and then just copy that because we want the same thing. And that way I make sure I do everything exactly the way it should be done. And so that's pretty simple. It's just call followed by the receiver, which in this case is nil, followed by the method name, and there's no args, so there's nothing else there. And so yeah, let's just see what we can get out of that. And you know, I forgot, I left off without finishing this, and I still don't know exactly how to do it, so just going to pretend that's not there. And so we have some strings and some other things. I'm not sure. Let's just put it here. I'm trying to put it sort of like high level down to low level, and this sort of kind of makes sense to me. And we'll call this a call, and it's going to be an identifier. Now something I'm not sure about is if I have method foo, which accepts anything, and I do foo space parens 1. Let's try this again. Let's do args and just return args. If I do foo space paren 1, is it literally the same as without a space? No, it's not. And that could be a problem for us because this library, this Parsing Expression Grammar, this parser generator library has an implicit white space rule, and I'm concerned that that's going to be a problem. Okay, so let's just we need a way to say there's no white space allowed here, but I'm not going to worry about it this very moment. Something I will have to research. And I guess it's just going to be something like that. And environment, return new array value, symbol value, call. Okay, call and it's going to be env nil obj followed by the method name, which is e0.evaluate. And so now we need to build this identifier. And an identifier I just had this thought. Does that implicit white space rule apply here as well in this float and integer? I sure hope not. Parser.parse 1.2, because we don't want any white space there. Okay, that's a syntax error. So there are certain conditions where the white space rule does not apply, but I know that it applies like here, where I have a rule followed by another rule. That's fascinating. I need to understand at what points does this library insert that white space rule. I'm not sure that I love that it's that magical. I kind of wish it was a little more explicit. But yeah, maybe I just need to go spelunking in the code or do some more experimenting. But in any case, I think an identifier is going to be any lowercase letter a through z followed by any lowercase a through z capitals 0 through 9. Oh, and this could be an underscore, right? Hopefully this works the way I think it does. And this needs to return a symbol. Okay, so we'll do let's clear make and okay, so parse identical syntax error, and this is where that additional error information would be handy. Let's take out the underscores and see if that is breaking anything. No, it's not. So it's a method call followed by parentheses. Oh, I'm not actually including, let's put the underscores back. I'm not actually including call anywhere. And I believe call, I'm not exactly sure at what level to put it, but let's put it first, because I believe it binds higher than the operators. Could be wrong on that. Oh, but this is called with parentheses. So possibly it should go here. Whatever I choose will be wrong. So I need to write a test case for that. Okay, I didn't like that still. And now I'm back to wondering if the underscores are doing something wrong here, because I'm not sure if it accepts a single character like that. Okay, still an error. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I didn't put a plus here. So it would only match FO. It would match FOO. Oh, and that's not a plus, that's a star. So any number of these, but it has to start with one of these. Okay. Maybe that will fix it. Yay. Okay, so it would be nice to know if this works like I would expect it to. Ruby, and let's just copy this. There's no shame in cheating whatsoever. And run it through here and see what happens. So this is a syntax error on line 68. Now the question is, what did we do wrong? So a sum, let's see, a product op or an atomic, and a product can be another product, that's fine, or an atomic is a number, or parentheses, and I think this has to be a call as well. I'm not entirely certain that's correct, but it's worth a shot. And that seems to fix that issue. I'm not sure I love that I have this thing called expression and this other thing called atomic. And I'm wondering if we're teasing around the same, so maybe that's a single rule. Maybe this should be recursive. Instead of having atomic, maybe it references expression again. Because as it stands now, I'm not matching strings in here, double quoted or single strings, which I would need to. So then that means, what do I have? Another one, DQ string and SQ string. And so this starts to look a lot like this expression, doesn't it? And so I just wonder. So let's go ahead and make a failing test for the string, operator string stuff, like I was saying. So if I have foo plus bar, which should work, and I run that through Ruby. That's not going to work with Natalie because we don't recognize strings with operators. And line 44, that's this line. And so then I'm back to, I need to put strings in here. And so this starts to look exactly like expression, except things are sort of out of order. But I wonder if I just put expression here and expression here and comment this out, what does that break? Operator calls on line 36. That breaks this one. And I think we're back to that weird thing we had a couple videos ago where there was something with the backtracking that it didn't like. And so maybe I just do need this atomic thing. And maybe it matches things in a different order. Curious. If I put expression here. That does fix it. And so what if I take off the numeric here? Okay, that does not work. So numeric needs to happen first. Otherwise, it is not happy. So yeah, I'm not going to stress about this too much right now. I think that as I move forward, this may become a little clearer on what I need to do. There is definitely some duplication here between this rule and the expression rule. And so I'm not going to, like I said, not going to stress too much about it. But we do have method calls with empty parens, and so we should be able to do method calls now with arguments, and say bar and baz, good old bar and baz, and we'll run this with Ruby and see what we get. And so now we'd like to start accepting arguments, and not only arguments on one line, but arguments on more than one line with funky spaces, funky space here. That should be literally the same. Okay, so line 70 is not happy. 70. That's this line with the arguments. And instead of bar in baz, let's do 1 in baz. Make this a lit and a 1, lit and a 1. Actually, let's do 1 plus 2 here and run that through Ruby. And this is what we get. Okay, so that passes in Ruby and obviously fails with Natalie. And we need to accept, I guess, args, and we'll make a new rule for args. What does it actually return? So yeah, the arguments are just next. They're not nested inside of anything. They're just in line. So I think we need to say result, return result. What? Why aren't you happy? Oh, right. Because I deleted the new keyword. And I think we want to do I want to leave it like that. And then we want to loop over, well, I'll come back to that. I'm not sure yet. So an argument, an args, question mark. Yeah, because they're optional, right? So the args is an expression followed by a comma and another expression, and that's optional. And I think we just want to put them in an array. So something like this. recall we did this somewhere else, right? Yeah, we did it right here. Oh, we called it array. I don't know. You know, my naming is really good. I'm the best namer there is. So that's going to give us an array. And then we want to say if E1, goodness, is it length is greater than 1, then we want to do E1 dot evaluate for auto item in this stuff, in this array. Can I do that? Hopefully can do that. What are you complaining about? Why not? Why not? Because it's just a value static. Well, I happen to know it's an array. So as array. Now can you let me do it? There we go. Okay. What was I doing? Okay, so result push item. I need a semicolon here. Question is, will that fix it? Or will it blow up? Ah, it blows up. Well, let's just run it with our debugger and see if we can get something that helps us figure it out. Where's our last? Can I access memory at address? Without getting too far into that, let's just do a little quick experiment. Parser.parse foo. Which one is it choking on? I believe it's the empty parens one. Yeah, that's what it's choking on. And if I give it an argument, probably won't choke. Yeah. Okay. So my if here doesn't seem to be working because I'm referencing E1 and that's out of bounds. There is nothing there. So let's do this and to see what the length says. Unsigned long. Does that work? Yeah. Run make. Oh, that one's the one that worked. Well, that's fine. We'll get to see the length. The length is 10. Wait, the length is 10. Oh, that must be like the string length or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, that's what it is. So that's the length of the string. This one's going to say 5. Yeah. So that is definitely not the length that we care about. Size? No, yeah. Does size give us what we actually want? Yes. Okay, so length is the string length and size is the number that we want. That's an interesting distinction. But it works for me. So the question is, of course, if our parser test runs. It does run. Line 71 is failing, and that's the one with all the new lines. So out of curiosity, which new line broke it? Okay, so let's see if this new line broke. Oh, right, I didn't bake in any new lines. That is the problem. I am so smart. Okay, so new lines after parens, and can new lines go here before the comma? We'll just see what Ruby says. Compile error, parses. So no, I think the answer is no. Ruby expects the comma to be on the same line, and so we'll do the same thing. So this is an optional new line, and I believe our new lines are already optional. The rule itself, yeah. So we'll say a new line can go here. A new line can go here, a new line can go here, right? Yeah, that's fine. Undefined method, that's okay. Does that get us closer? New line in between everything. Yeah, okay. So let's put all this in the index and just kind of do a quick look over. Looks good. So our little parser can now parse a few things. It can parse strings and numbers and operators, at least these four. Add, multiply, divide, subtract. We can now parse method calls with parentheses. So I wonder if it would be worthwhile to give a shot at parsing methods without parentheses. Foo plus bar, foo1 baz, and I don't think that new line is allowed, but this one would be. Let's just sanity check that. Okay, if I do foo, right, if I do foo1, comma 2, yeah, so I can get away with a new line here, but that's the only place. And then of course spaces are okay. So these should be the same as these up here, but just without any parentheses. And this should bind earlier than the method call itself. So operators need to be, I guess, lower in precedence, or is that higher? Yeah, one of those. Okay, so let's see if we can get this to compile. Okay, line 75. That's this line here. So just a bare thing. And we'll say, I'm going to stick it here. I think that's actually wrong. I think it should go over here, but I'm going to stick it here for funsies. I'm going to say, what's that called? Like a bear call? A bear call. I don't know. I don't want it to be like call without parens. Is that stupid? It's a little bit stupid. I don't really like bear calls. It sounds like for a bear, like you're calling a bear. Naked call. I don't know what's a good word for that. And if I do, I mean, if I do that, I feel like I should say call with parens and call without parens. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm in love with that, but that's okay. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste it here. Call without parens. There's no new line allowed there. Arguments, and none of this is allowed. But everything else is going to be exactly the same. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I need to move that rule to the left of the operator stuff. 68. Is that what we expected? No, it's not. So it seems and I'm not going to be super proud of just fiddling with this because I'm supposed to look like an expert, but you all know I'm not an expert. I am just doing this for fun, and I really don't know what I'm doing about half the time. 68. Oops, 68. It didn't fix that one, and it broke 76. So it broke this one too. So I'm very confused now. So I wonder if this one should go here because it needs to match the parens first and before it can decide what kind it is. Wow, that actually worked. I'm super surprised. Things usually don't work that quickly for me. And when they do, it's usually because I'm just confused. But it looks like it actually parsed this correctly. I did not expect that. I thought that because I thought this it would try to parse this as a call to foo with 1 plus a 2. But it actually, yeah, I think that just shows I don't understand exactly how the precedence rules work or how the hierarchy works. Or it means I don't have sufficient tests. So just for good measure, what if I do foo with a foo string bar? And not that I think this is going to change anything, but I don't know, just to try to trip up our parser, give it as much input as possible. Good chance of failing. The earlier we catch a failure, the better. And that actually works. Well, what do you know? So we have some method calls now. We have method calls with parens and no args. Method calls with parens and args. Expressions like operators inside of method calls. And then also method calls without any parens. So, I mean, there's a good chance I've screwed up something royally here, and this may come back to bite me, but I think for tonight, I'm pretty happy. I think we did good. Well, thanks a lot, family, for hanging out with me tonight. Not a bad little episode. Method calls, cool. I'm just scanning through here, thinking maybe I messed something up or missed something, but I'm not too sad about call without parens and call with parens. It's a little wordy, but at least it's clear exactly why there are two different ones. And Yeah. I'm going to say parse method calls and run our test suite. Okay, test suite passes. Give it a good old push, and that's it for this video. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time. Bye.